So now it's time to package our scene and make it available in the enhanced menus. So we're going to see how to package this up and how to build a custom menu system that we can load this file in. But the first thing before we, when we package, is we have this scene, and we have a lot of elements into it, and we know that we have a few modifiers in the modifier stack. So we want the artist that will load this to not select by accident or break the scene by accident. A bit like a character rig. If you're building a character for production, you want to only let the user select what is possible to select in the scene in order to not break anything. So what I'll do is I'll select this object here, and I can use Control I or go into Select Invert, and it's going to select everything else in the scene rather than the control object. So now I know that everything is selected, including the camera. So nothing can be selected. Actually, everything is selected that I don't want to be selectable in the scene, I would say. So I'm going to right-click and say Object Properties. We can edit multiple scene properties or object properties in the same window. So that's what we're going to do here. I want my object to be frozen, but I don't want to show the frozen in gray. So I'm going to turn this off, and now everything will be frozen. So that means it's not going to be selectable, but it's not going to be show frozen in gray. So if I say OK now, you can see that I can no longer select these objects, even if I can update them using the control object. So now we have our animation, but as I load the scene, you see that I cannot select anything, but if I select this here, it can be selected. Also, if you don't want the control object to be broken or to be brought somewhere or scaled up or hidden or whatever, what I can go here is I can go into the hierarchy panel in the link info and just say whatever. I'm going to lock everything in terms of scaling and rotation. Now what happens is I can select it, but if I try to move it or scale it or whatever, it's just locked there in position. So I can now prevent some accident by just doing this. So now that it's pretty much ready to go, we've got our we've frozen everything in the scene. We've logged the transformation. Now I can go back to frame 0, and now I can save the file. And now I know that it's saved in a way that it's not going to be breakable when it opens. So if I go back here and say open that bar, so that's what's going to happen. The artist loads the file, tries to select anything, it's not selectable. I can grab the edit node, and then I can adjust the values, adjust the color, adjust the x-axis, and my scene is functional. Now I'm ready to publish this or to make it available for artists to load. So what I'll do is I'll bring it the final frame of the graphic, and I'll just take a snapshot of the window here. There's different tools to take snapshots. You can use I'm using Snapshot here, Snagit, sorry, to do my snapshot. So I'm just going to grab the file here and save it as a PNG file. So I'm save as. Or what I can do is I'm just going to render a simple frame, and when it is rendered, I can save it as a PNG file as well. So that's what I'm going to do for now. I'm going to go here, save, and save it as a PNG file, PNG. And we are going to put it into, let's say, scene assets. And actually, you know what? I'll do even better. I'll just put it at the root of the 3ds Max. So in C, program file, and I'll put it in the 3ds Max 2015 folder. And the reason why I'm putting it there is that I want to have a quick access to it when I'm going to select it for my scene menu. So if I go here in scripts and startup, I'll create a new folder, and I'll call that images. And now that I know that no matter the project or whatever, that image is going to be accessible to the menus, and that's kind of important. So I'm going to save it there. So that's going to be in the startup menu and image. Save that, bar 3, and save it. So just save it like so. So now we have an image. It's not the perfect image. I would. Like I said, I would probably do a snapshot and probably crop it so that it's square, and I would spend a bit more time. But I just want to show you the workflow, and after that, you can generate the images that you want. In the regular menus for 3ds Max, those are the regular menus. I don't see any icons in there. I want them to. I want to be able to see icons in the InEnds menu, and the InEnds menu is not activated by default. So to activate the InEnds menu, I can go into the window here, press the X key. And once press the, not the Alt key, but the X key. So if I press the X key, it brings up the search window, and I can just enter enhanced, and you see that InEnds menu are here. So I'm just going to activate that, and it's going to bring up the window here with all the InEnds menu. I'm going to dock it right under the regular menu, and then if you go here in the where you have this little arrow pointing down, I can say hide menu bar, and it's going to hide the original menu bar. So now what I've got is my customized, my enhanced menu that I can start to customize. The beauty of this menu is that you've got icons, you've got, so if I just show the icons here, you see some of them have, I just have stars, but if I go into the create panel, standard primitive, you see that they have some icons, and we can create our own icons if we want to, and that's kind of the beauty of these menus. But right now we don't have any menus there. If I go to customize and customize user interface, and I want to add a menu here, I need the item that I want to put in the menu to be available on the left side. And right now I don't have anything that refers to my current scene or anything that tells Max to load the scene. I need to build a script, and we are going to create a macro script. And when the macro script is known by 3ds Max and loaded at the startup, we can have it here as available as an available item in the action menu, and then I can build my own menu here. So if I want to build a menu to start with, just a kind of a capsule to where I want my menu to be, I'm going to create a new menu, and I'm going to call that templates. Enter. And that template menu will be available here at the lower left end. If I just press if I select one of those and press T, it's going to bring me to the T. Then I can say template, and I can just drag it in here and drop it where I want it to be. So right now I'm putting it at the complete right, so that it's easily accessible. And now I've got my templates menu. Inside of this template menu, I would like to create a bars menu. So if I have a bars 3, bars 4, bars 6, bars 7, whatever, I need to create a bars menu. So I'm going to go here, say new, and I'm going to say bars, enter. And now I'm going to have that available here in my menu. So if I press the B key, it should bring us somewhere close to bar. And I'm just going to drag it in here in templates, and now we have our bars menu. I'm going to save this for now. I'm just going to override the UI file. That's fine. And now we'll see that we have our menu. We have our right now there's nothing in there because we don't have any content in it. So we're going to start to build our menu. I should see my bars menu in there. So I'm just going to go back and take a look at this. So templates, bars, and actually there's nothing in the bars menu. So that's probably why we don't see it. So we're going to put something into this menu so that we can see it. So if I go back here, yeah, but it's not seeable yet because we don't have any item in there. So to create a menu or macro script that can be loaded into any of those menus, I need to use Max script. So what I'll do is I'll bring back the script editor. I'll create a new script, and for that script we need to create a macro script. The macro script is a function or a script that resides in memory, and I can assign to hotkeys. I can assign it to a menu item. So you can even assign it to a button if you want to. So it's just a macro script is something that lives within 3ds Max. We want to save it in the startup menu so that it's always available when Max starts. If you save it somewhere else on your drive, when Max is going to start, it's not going to execute that macro script, so it won't know all the time that it's available. So that's why when I create a macro script, it's always good to save it in the start menu, in the Max start menu. So sorry, in the startup menu of the script file. So I'm going to go here and say save as. And I'm going to go back into C, program files. That's where Max is installed in my case, Max 2015. I'm going to go into the scripts folder, and there's a startup folder here. That's where I'm going to put my, my script. And I'm going to call that templates load, and I'm going to save it. And right now it's just an empty script, but we're going to start to populate it with macro script. And whenever Max is going to start, it's going to have that macro script available. So to create a macro script, you just say macro, and I realized in the previous video that writing a script and looking at the microphone and thinking at the same time is kind of hard. So I pre-wrote my script on the left side of the screen so that I can know exactly what to type. So I realized that it's an easier way for me to record, which I was not familiar with when I started to record those examples. So macro script. And we can call it templates, or we need to give it a name that is kind of code friendly, which means no spaces, no special characters. So what I'll do is I'll call that templates underscore. We're doing a bars, so I'm going to say bars, and we're doing a bars 3, so I'm going to call that 3. So templates underscore bars underscore 3, which is an easy way to find where this macro script is. We need to put it in a category, so I'm going to go category, and we're going to give it a name. We're going to call that area templates, because this is recorded for the area. And then we need to give it a tooltip, or whenever you're going to try to, when you bring your mouse over the menu item, we need to give it a tooltip. So I'm going to say button text, which is the way to tell this, and then colon, and then in between quotes, we're going to say this is a 3 bars graph. So I'm just going to say 3 bars for now. And there's a thing that's very important. I'm going to say silent errors, capital E errors, colon true. That means that whenever that script is going to get executed, it's going to forget about the errors. The reason why I'm doing this is that let's say that you have a scene where the units are set up in a different way, or any type of errors that would, or warning that would pop up during the execution of that script, that would kind of look weird. So we want to just forget about the errors, just load the scene, and that's it. So I'm going to create my macro script, and I'm just going to make it empty for now. And so anything that's going to be in between those parentheses will be the definition of my macro script. I'm going to say tool, evaluate all. And because I'm typing a script, it's always a good idea to bring up the listener to make sure that I don't have any errors. This returns an ID. That's good. That means that there's no error in my base script, and I can save it. Now we have executed, so that means that we have executed it, which means that the macro script is now available in memory. If I go into my customize user interface, I should be able to find in category, I should see somewhere here, area templates, and inside of it, we see template bars 3, and now we're going to put it inside of bars. I'm going to drag it in here, drop it there, and you'll see I'm going to save this as a UI, and yes, that's fine. And now if I close this down, I should be able to see bars, and you see that here we have our new template underscore bars underscore 3. This is not a really nice way to display this in the menu. So what we can do, I'm going to go back here, customize user interface, and it's going to bring it up. I'm going to say here in the bars, I can right click and I say edit menu item name, and I'm going to say customize name, and by default it puts the tooltips, but you can leave it to, you can adjust it to whatever you want here. So I'm going to say okay. And also if you right click, you see that there's a way to set the menu icon. So I'm going to right click here, and sometimes you have to click twice. I don't know why, but the second time it's going to go into a file browser, and it's looking for a PNG file. So remember that PNG file that we saved when we did the render, or if you did a snapshot and you crop the file to a square, it doesn't matter the size of the image, it's going to find it. So I'm going to go here and say it's going to find it and resize it. So 3ds Max 2015, we did put it in the startup, in the scripts folder, startup, and we created a subfolder called images, and I'm going to grab that bar3.png, okay, and save this. And yes, I want to override my UI file, that's fine. And I'm going to close this down and minimize this, and now I can see that my bars have this little icon, and that's why now we kind of scaled it so that it doesn't look really great. So that's why if you want to spend more time to build your icon so that it's a bit more meaningful, just save it as a PNG file, make it as square as possible, make your graphic as big as possible in the icon, and then after that you can define a color scheme that makes sense to you and things like that. But the beauty of this is that now this menu can be turned off, and I can leave it here. So if I've got multiple menus or multiple items, I can just leave them on the interface, and it's easy to just click on them. Right now this button doesn't do anything, but we can make it do something by writing the script for our macro script. So I'm going to close this down for now, bring back Max script, and actually, you know what? I think I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to create a second, or a second part for this script so that it can be in 2 separate videos.